Just say. You're out. Cats.
All right, ready to get started?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, I'm Mary Lou Novak, and today I brought to you it's our third Wednesday of the month, it is the third Wednesday of the month, so that is Health Talk. And today I brought a panel of experts in the field of aging and care for seniors. So I'm just asked each one to who they are, who they're with, and what their superpower is. This is scary because it could be anything, we'll see. But we're here really to answer your questions. We do have a few things that people typically ask us, so we'll be able to share those types of things if there's no questions, but be thinking about, as you hear what their expertise is and their superpower, what burning question you might want answered for yourself or a loved one. So we'll start at this end over here.
My name's Lynn. I know most of you. I'm with Behavioral Health Crestwin, which is well, I'll tell you later. But anyway, it's mental health inpatient. My superpower, if I have one, would be to help families journey through mental health, especially those who are dealing with dementia.
My name's Rochelle Mayer. I'm with Cry Like Real Estate, Senior Real Estate Specialist. My superpower would be, my real superpower is being able to find any parking spot anywhere in front of me. Doesn't matter, you're lucky if I'm in the car with you. But my other superpower would be being able to talk to anybody, ask my kids. We don't leave anywhere without making a new friend. So, and I don't do new friends.
Good morning. My name is Julie Terrell. I'm the Director of Marketing for Ave Maria Home, which is a nonprofit senior living facility in Bartlett. We're celebrating our 70th year next year. My superpower may be to offer empathy and compassion to those looking for their loved one and being extremely overwhelmed and be able to offer them the ability to age in place gracefully.
I'm Donna Roach. Y'all know me from Parkside. My superpower, I guess, is navigating the senior community.
And Tim Flessner, managing partner for Home Helpers, and my superpower, actually Julie stole. So I'm probably better at it than I would say that.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Rena Rosenberg. I'm the owner of eldercare consultants. We do geriatric care management. In January, I'm very excited to be celebrating 28 years of the second geriatric care management company in Memphis. My superpower, my real superpower, is making the best chocolate brownies. Just ask my nephew, my niece. But my professional superpower is basically knowing all of these wonderful people and utilizing their strengths. And I have a wonderful team, and we network with everybody to make sure our clients have the care and guidance and navigation. Thank you for having me here today.
So I'm Leanne Morse, and I own the moving business. So my superpower is that I will move the things that you don't want to, which is everything. So yeah, they don't want to do it. They put things off. They wait because they don't want to make the move. If you get the person involved, and most of the time it's elderly people, that's what we do. My team comes in and we help them move. So we do it with care and compassion, like they were saying, and make it easy for them because they don't want to do it in most cases. So we help them move through the transition easily.
And I'm Sherry Harper with Harper Realty and the author of Senior Care Roadmap. I guess my superpower is helping seniors move and their families move and keep their dignity and make it as simple as possible for them.
So Rena, you have you did homework. You have a list.
Well, yeah, that's my other superpower. And Lynn is treating me on my obsessive compulsive. She's been treating Lynn.
We treat each other.
I've been saying for years, so
Right.
neither one of us have aged one.
You never
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the other superpower.
Right.
I've learned how to reverse
aging. Yeah. Yes. So we had shared some things that we thought were important.
You know, one of the things nobody's under stress at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
Correct? Everybody's done everything that they need to do for work, for their families, and then we have this thing called the holiday season that started apparently October 31st. And I was in Walmart shopping for clients, doing whatever I was doing, and I look over to the end where they put their holiday stuff. And this was Halloween, and the Christmas stuff was already out. So, you know, my heart just started doing this because I was like, oh my gosh, it's just October. And the stress that's added on to our daily stress is what's so challenging this time of year. We want to be there for everybody, right? We want to make sure all of our clientele have everything they need. We want to make sure, you know, our loved ones are okay. And then we want to be there for everybody. And how do we manage this without getting overwhelmed, getting too stressed, and then taking care of ourselves? One of the things I preach to my caregivers, including all of us, is self-care, as well as taking time for yourselves. One of the things I always, well, there's lots of things I say, but for caregivers, it's hard to ask for help. Do we think anybody else can do what we can do as well as we can do it?
No.
Not always. And this time of year, especially when we've got so many demands on all of us, and trying to be there for everybody. First, to be the best caregiver, what I tell all of our clients and those of us in the industry, doing what we do every day, we have to take care of ourselves because we're not going to be there for everybody else that we love and care about and we're responsible for. And then one of the second things that I always say is, you know, people are going to say, Mary Lou, you know, let me know if you need anything.
Right.
Julie, let me know if you need anything. But what do we always say?
Got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
Right.
In the South, we always have to talk to people, right? We have to talk to you. And what
I
do you
noticed
think?
that when you're checking out.
How are you doing today? Fine. But when somebody says to you, can I do something to help you, whatever, and we say no, don't do that. When you're under stress, you're doing caregiving, you're on the clock 36 hours a day, the Alzheimer's Bible is what I like. Accept that help. You have to be willing to receive the help. If somebody wants to help you as you're going through stressful times, accept it. Don't just be nice and try to be a hero. Accept the help, accept what others are trying to do for you because it does what for them.
Yes.
It helps bless them as well. It makes me feel better to be able to do something for you and not just talk about it. Take care of yourselves. If you leave here today, take 5 minutes, whatever it is, take a deep breath, push your chair back, do some stretching, do what you need to do for yourself, and I promise you, you're going to get through the holidays a whole lot better.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So the theme of today is to get through the holidays with family without the drama. So who else either has a story of how they overcame that or some tips to share?
I'll tell you what, the holidays are wonderful, but they're tough. And there is a lot of drama because what happens during the holidays is people do two things. They often try to rebuild relationships, which sounds lovely, doesn't it? We're going to resolve all this conflict. Hard to do at the holidays and not the best time. Because the second part of that is we write a script. And the script says, I will say this, and then you will say this. I will say to my brother, who I'm estranged from, not really, but if that were the case, I will say to him, oh, I'm so sorry we've been estranged and I want you back in my life and please, please come back in my life. And he will say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you told me that because I love you as well. I want you back in my life. Not. It will not happen. You cannot write a script because the script means you say this and they say this and guess what? You have no idea what they'll say. So best thing to do is just wait to resolve till the time is right. The holidays hold no magic in them.
Anyone else want to contribute?
I'll throw on that. Similar to what Rena said, I'm not as humorous or good looking as Lynn, but if we have that case, I've been caring for my mom for 9 years. So I understand the stress. Fortunately, I'm the hero of the family. So, I've had my esteemed business partner, Janelle, told me many times, you got to take care of yourself. But it is difficult when you're in the middle of things and have things to do and that kind of stuff. But I've learned the hard way to make sure that you are, self-care is very important. And again, that's what we do in helping come alongside of all of this panelists here, come alongside of the families, help them with the tough decisions and knowing that it is very overwhelming. So, yeah, I think it's very important.
Another topic is, what do you have control over and what don't you have control over? So does anybody wanna talk to that? Don't all talk at once. Or say whatever you're gonna say.
I was just gonna say that I just experienced that firsthand when my mom died 3 months ago. Everybody's saying, what can you do? What can you do? And I'm the one that all the family comes to do everything, their bookwork, their now they caregiver. And I just said, oh, if you could do this, and if you could do that. And to see the joy on their faces when I actually gave them a job to do was so rewarding. It's like, hey, that's been nice. And what I can control and what I can't, I can only control me. So when my dad's having a meltdown day, I can only control my reaction. I can just be myself, and that's all I can be. So
I've got something to add to that. I can't help but think it's funny that on the way driving here, I was listening to my morning devotional on my phone or whatnot, and talking about leisure through the holidays and how to really truly enjoy them. And sometimes that's saying no to things. Saying no. I know one of my superpowers is saying yes to everything, getting so completely overwhelmed. But what also goes along with that is saying no to yourself. So I can say no to all these other things, but I've got to also remember I don't need to make treat bags for every, and that we're getting that. I can say no to going to an event, and in a few weeks, no one's going to realize that you're there or not. So it's saying no to yourself. That's control, and what you can control, what you can't. So whether it's saying no to other organizations or other people, but also to yourself.
I'll piggyback sort of on the nose, but we don't have to do everything. We have these visions of how the house should look and how the food should look and how everybody should behave. And it's okay to not smoke the turkey yourself. Go buy it. Go buy it. It's okay to have somebody come in and help clean up the house for you. It's okay to not claim everything, because at the end of the day, nobody is superhuman, and all we're doing is taking away from ourselves and from our ability to enjoy the season.
Oh, sure, of course.
So I'm just gonna summarize what she said in one word. Is anybody in here a perfectionist? I know, and that's what we all strive to be, most of us, and it's okay not to be. I'm just restating.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So despite our best efforts, sometimes feelings escalate, right? We're not always proud when we react, but what are some tips to handle that and to, get grounded and get back to more of a neutral feeling so you don't react? Does anybody have anything to share?
I would say just give yourself grace. I think that's what you're going to do. You're not always going to buy the best holiday gift. It won't make any difference. Do you remember what somebody gave you 5 years ago, unless it was a card or money? So give yourself some grace, like Rochelle said and Rena said. It's okay if you don't do everything perfect, because there'll always be another year.
One thing I want to kind of say with all this, if you still have your parents or your sibling, and I'm 70 years old. My sister that was a year older than me, she's passed away. We were raised like twins. I have a brother that's 5 years younger than me. I never see him. So, but we live in the same town. So do you still see your family? Don't ignore your family. I've got seniors in my building that the families live in Bartlett and they don't come but maybe once every couple of months to see their parent. So especially now, because I've got other families who are like helicopter children. They come all the time, and they come and get mom, dad, whoever, and they take them out and they go places. At Thanksgiving, they came and got them and took them home for Thanksgiving. Christmas, they'll do the same thing. And then I've got all these others that are still there. And they know their family is at home having a party, and they're still in the building, and they were not taken. So make sure that you've got, if there's someone, like you were so gracious to say, bring a friend, how do you know what your neighbor is doing? Check on your neighbors, especially if they're seniors. Check on your friends, church members, whoever, and let them know that they're not forgotten. Because that's really sad to me in my building when I see this. So I always try to do things with my residents, go and visit them or do whatever. Because people say, why are you here on Christmas Day? Because I want them to know that they are loved. And you've got to know that we've got people in our building that they don't get that from their children, their adult children. So make sure you know what's going on in their life. And if you do have someone, even in a community, whether it's Ave Maria or mine or an independent living, see if they want to come and have dinner with you. See if they want to come and have Christmas lunch with you, even the day after. But let them know that they're not forgotten. That's a big thing to them. They didn't forget you, so don't forget them.
So caregiving's tough, right? There's a lot of tasks involved. Medication management, personal care, food, whatever. One of the profound things that were shared, and maybe somebody can elaborate on it, is those tasks are not what you're talking about. And a lot of times people get caught up in, well, I just saw mom yesterday, but what did you talk about? You know, that you were going to the pharmacy to pick
You
up.
brought
That's-
the paper. Like,
Yeah, right. So can somebody elaborate on that, that's not really quality time?
well, yeah, I mean, they do it in my building. And they do. They come in, and I've got one gentleman who literally comes in at lunch because he knows his mom's going to be in the dining room. He brings whatever she's given him a list. He leaves it in her apartment and leaves. And that's it. That's all he does. And, you know, how much is that? How much? Okay, I brought you one of the big giant rolls of toilet paper so I can see you for another month. Those are not taking care of folks. I brought your prescriptions. I picked them up at Walmart. That's not taking care of the loved ones. That's not taking care of anybody that you know. You've got a neighbor. Well, I'll run errands for them. What else are you doing? Quality time. And it took me a minute to figure it out because I had a lady that I went in to visit with her in her apartment. And she said, oh my gosh, I can't believe you've come in to sit with me. So now I make it time to come and sit, not just with her, but it hit me. That's what I have to do. I have to come in and sit with them and listen to them. And they've got some great stories. They really, really do. So yeah, bringing that roll of toilet paper is not taking care of your parents.
And maybe you don't have time to go sit there, but a phone call means a lot. And like for some of my family members, I know they can talk for 2 hours. They can't talk to anybody for so long. So I drive between Bartlett and Piperton. I know exactly. I got 30 minutes. I can give them a long phone call, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go.
Everybody's to get up. I ride for it. I can take it.
I just wanted to say something. As I said, I've been in the industry for 35 years, and one of the first places I started working was doing mental health work in local area nursing homes, which is at Lynn many years ago. And what I realized was, not just in our daily lives, as well as when we're caring for loved ones or caring for other individuals, is that think about touch. When I was in some of these long-term care facilities, the only time that people were being touched a lot of time was for personal care. Somebody was helping them bathe, dress, pushing somebody in a wheelchair, or stopping by, just how you doing today, just kind of a touch on the shoulder. And I started realizing that if that's not what they need, just like everybody's saying, that's not the kind of touch and that's not the kind of love and attention and quality that people strive for, that we all need. And it just took something, kind of like that light bulb moment many, many years ago, just for me to realize that if I can be there for our clientele and our caregivers and the staff and everybody that's providing that care oversight, people need a little more than just hands-on care, which is so needed for dignity to keep us well, but we need a little bit more. All of us do. We need more than just a quick handling of care. Thank you all again.
Just wanted, the phrase I was thinking was quality of life.
Yes.
And everything that we do, I mean, in all of our parts of the world here together, is really to help establish a much better quality of life. It doesn't matter whether you're with children or adults or seniors. if they're in assisted living or independent, it's not enough to have a roof over your head and food in your mouth. That's not quality of life, that's living. I want to make sure that we're always providing much better quality of life, and there are so many
And you're often with people at the most stressful time because they're having to make decisions about what they're gonna take with them or their next choice of living. What are some of the ways that you keep the peace or navigate that, and keep their emotions from escalating?
Yeah, that's fine. So one of the things when you were talking, I did start thinking about that part of it. So what we try to encourage them to do is pick their favorite things. Because when they're downsizing, most of them are going from really large homes into less than 1,000 square feet. And so we try to encourage them to pick your favorite and then work backwards. And we'll take everything that we can, but let's take your favorite things first. And let's not worry about, and when I say this, let me clarify, not what it's gonna look like when we get it there, because it's gonna look good when I get through. But, I'm really picky about that, but bring your favorite artwork, bring your favorite things, and even though they might not go together right beside each other, we're gonna make it work so that you get to keep it. And that's the goal, because the clients that we worked with, our very first clients at the village, he came from England, she lived here, they met because their siblings got married, they ended up getting married. And the trunk that he carried over here from England was up in their attic when we moved them. And I said, what are you gonna do with that? And because it was huge, and I said, that probably won't fit in your apartment, but what can we do with it? He said, my son's taking it. I said, okay. And then we found a stack of letters that they had written back and forth to one another. And I said, what about those? I said, those you can take with you. Let's take those. Okay, oh yes, I don't get those. And so they were telling us about their history. Like she had said, you're learning about their life as you're helping them walk through these things. And to de-escalate it is to be able to encourage them. And even if they can't keep it, I say, take a picture. We'll get one of those slide frames and we'll put everything that you can't keep that means something to you on those pictures. And then every 5 seconds you sit it. My mom has her sitting by her table on her seat at our dinner table. And those pictures are going through every 5 seconds because I've lost all 3 of my siblings. And so she has pictures of them on there. And so we are constantly reminded of our family and our friends and the things that they've enjoyed through their life. So that's my encouragement, is figure out a way to keep the things that mean the most to you. And that's kind of what we do.
Lynn, I think you touched on this, I think it was you, where you said, the holidays may not be the best time to solve things. Can someone talk about, not trying to pile everything that you've been wanting to say, for the last 6 months and been waiting till you see the person in person? And what to do instead?
Your family's not your therapist. You may want them to be, but they're not, and you were not theirs.
Yeah. Oh, 1 minute.
1 minute.
So I'll address to that. And so experiencing, I went from caring for one person to overseeing caring for 30 others. And so one thing that I've experienced is it's and all these feedback that we get about self-care. It will eventually come up. I had an outburst with my sister. I was renovating my home. I had my mom in the assisted living facility for 30 days. I'm like, I've got this, taking care of it all. So know that it is incremental. We need to take it out incremental, because fortunately my sister showed me a lot of grace, because I literally blew up and I had 6 years of stuff that just came out. So it's very important to make sure it's, take it in increments, know that you cannot do it all. Take the time to share those, and know that it doesn't have to be done in the holiday season.
Right.
Enjoy your family during the holidays, right? Try to enjoy your family. Some of us can't enjoy the family, but do your part.
Does anybody have any questions? We're just wrapping up. More stories? No? Okay. Thank you.
I have something I'd like to say. Through all this and all the journeys, and many of you know my journey for the past several years, I've learned to set a boundary and to ask myself, will I regret doing this or will I regret not doing this? And that has given me so much more clarity on what I should do or should not do and help me keep that boundary so that I can practice the self-care that we talk about often, as well as keep my sanity, because it's difficult. It's difficult to deal with different personalities, people who think that you aren't really working, even though your schedule is out to the end. But it is very difficult, and trying to prioritize that has been so much easier and given me a lot more peace about what I do and what I can't do. So I encourage you to consider that.
One thing, I'm a fearless living coach, and one thing they talk about is boundaries. And boundaries are important. It gives you the peace of mind of not overextending yourself or not later feeling like you've been taken advantage. But a boundary is not a boundary if it is specific to a person. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's a reaction to someone if it's not. So in other words, if it's something that you wouldn't let anybody say or treat you, that's a boundary. But if it's in reaction to a particular person that always gets your goat, then it's a reaction. So that's just a way to kind of decide whether, am I putting a boundary in place or am I reacting to someone else that triggers me? So thank you so much today for coming. And they'll be here if you have questions about their area of superpower.
That's a real quick question.
Yeah, sure.
You said something about the lonely people and they're not being visited by their families and stuff like that.
Do what?
When you were talking about people that
Uh-huh.
are lonely, they don't have, their families aren't coming. How could someone help them that doesn't know them? Like, because I realize that, I understand that families.
Yeah, we had a gentleman and he did it for a while and then he just stopped. We would give him names of folks and he would introduce himself and then he would go to their apartment and he would just sit and visit with them.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're accepting of that.
Yeah.
So that's something that can be done. It actually does help.
It's dependent on different levels of care too.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
assisted living, they're like us. They are, they communicate, they're great. There may be a situation that we've had several people over the years in long-term care, their families have dropped them off.
Yeah.
And saying, all right, they're gone. And even if they're bedridden, we have volunteers that'll come and just sit with them, read the newspaper, pray with them, just talk. I still think they can hear you. So,
So how would you start a conversation out with somebody that you totally don't know, that you've got no name, you walk in that room and go, hi.
Introduce yourself and start saying, hey, this is me and just a little bit about yourself. And then how about you? Tell me something about you.
I just came by to say hi.
Believe me, they look,
They
talk
do.
about themselves.
I get so many coaching moves. Actually, that's what I say.
People want,
I have a question. Go ahead.
they want to tell their stories.
Right.
More often than not, they want to be heard. So
So
if
with
you,
older folks.
Yeah,
Yes,
what did you do
yes.
before you retired?
Yes.
Do you have any kids, pets? I mean, just simple questions.
Especially if they're
They'll get to
veterans.
going.
Yeah, they talk, if you're a veteran, they're a veteran, then they'll talk all day long.
I do have a question for you guys. Y'all work with people like that have no family going to see them. What are, besides going physically to the place to sit down with people, which is a great idea, is there any other thing that we can do? Like, what else can we do that we can't go and sit down with people?
So I know our residents love cards. I have lots of kids and even adults that provide cards. And even if they're not addressed to a certain person, and they still love to receive them. And I've had volunteer groups in the past that I've provided socks. I mean, as simple as that sounds, a new pair of socks is great. Or toiletries, or providing bingo prizes.
Let me ask you this: if we did a bunch of cards, we didn't have the names on them, but we gave you somebody in your facility the pen that we used to write it, so the ink matches. Could you put their name on it?
Yeah, or I
Yeah,
had some kids come and we just put it at their table, we put it at their plate, so when they came out to eat for dinner that night, they each had a card and they were all reading them and sharing them with each other. Because everybody comes at Christmas. I think we had 3 choirs come one day. So everybody brings their kids' choirs, they bring their choirs, they bring whatever. And then in January, Christmas. Yeah, for the rest of the year.
So the
Happy
real
New Year.
Christmas is after Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
And I work with young youth groups, Interact, Rotary, and we have groups of young people who will write Valentine's cards, Mother's Day cards,
St.
Veterans
Patrick's
cards.
Day, I mean, anything, yeah, more than just
Happy New Year.
I realize you can't give their names, but
Right.
if we gave you the pen that we
Yeah,
wrote with,
and
could you
yeah.
put their name?
And, you know, I was telling y'all before, all y'all got here, I had a kindergarten teacher, she was kindergarten through 3rd grade kids that did cards like these folks did. And, Ben, Kirsten gave it to me yesterday. And some of them, they didn't know they were either, so they just wrote, dear elderly person. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. They
Yeah,
don't
they
mind,
know.
they love it, they love, and they would draw on them, they just love it, they love
The name's not really necessary.
It's
it.
not.
Right.
I personally read through one over on my table here for the children from our organization that we have the dinner for and everything. And as I read this, it was to me. Okay?
Right.
It was to me, and I took it as that.
Oh.
There are organizations, disabled vets, this kind of stuff, that if you get anything from them, you get cards in there that you sign and you send it back with a contribution and they give it to whoever, they pass out cards, they don't have a name on it. But the thing about it is, that person takes it first, like Donna said, when that's laid at their plate, that's their
That's
card,
their card. Yeah.
whether it's got a name on it or not, and they take it that way. And we all love to have cards or something, because what does that tell us? Somebody's thinking about us.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I remember when my mother was in a facility, I would go into the front door and there was a row of people in wheelchairs. Just, you could tell they were just hoping and praying that somebody in their family or some friend of theirs would come and visit. And if you even just stopped and said, hi, how are you? And shook hands with each one of them, it made their day.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing about that is, I talk about it in the article. It's in November, December.